They charged me with resisting arrest.
Get that confidence in jail.
I object.
Hello, fellow patriots, and welcome to another episode of Allegedly Bravo. I'm Lauren, and this is my co-host, Cash.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
And today we decided, enough is enough. Enough Taylor Armstrong, enough.
Mm-hmm.
We can't do any more Erica Jane and any more Jen Shaw. I'm burnt out, and this is the beginning when it should be the most fun.
Yeah, because we're in it right now with Erica Jane, and we're about to be in it in 2 weeks with Jen Shaw.
Right.
And I just need a little bit of a breather, especially after this week's Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Oh my God. So for anyone listening, not at the very moment that this drops, we're recording this right after the episode of Beverly Hills when they all sit down for Kyle Richards' Christmas dinner.
Wait, that Kyle cooked.
Kyle's all, I don't want anyone to think all I did was baste this chicken. Okay, Kyle, it doesn't matter. Kyle could have literally filmed an entire cooking show cooking that chicken, and I would still think someone did it.
Absolutely. It's basically what Cooking with Paris is.
1000%. Whenever they're doing Cooking with Paris and it comes time to the part where they eat it and they all go, oh my God, this is so good. I'm like, no, honey, there's no way.
No
that being said, God bless Paris Hilton, if you believe in that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she sparks joy.
She does spark joy, and she is why we are all here.
Okay, so I'm not trying to point out anything that other people can't see. But what I will say is that your forehead and eyebrows are looking better than any forehead and eyebrows I've ever seen. Tell us what's happening.
Thank you so much. So I have taken my eyebrow game a little bit more seriously.
They look great.
Yeah, I've totally reshaped them because as somebody who struggles with hair growth on the body, I know that sounds absolutely insane, but in our family, we're not hairy human beings. I don't know if that's TMI, but we just do not grow body hair, including our eyebrows. They're very, very thin. And so it has taken me so long to learn how to shape them.
They look so good.
Thank you. But more importantly, I did get my Botox 2 days ago.
Honestly, also if you believe in that sort of thing, God bless Botox and whoever Dr. Botox is that invented it.
Yeah. And I had a new girl this time, and I think she did a way, way, way better job than my other girl.
Yeah. There's still a lot of natural movement.
Yes. And she was so sweet. And we were talking, and I was just asking her, I was like, do you just do this all day? And she's like, no, I do every single treatment. And she goes, when I got this Botox appointment, I was so excited because she said most of the time she does hair removal. And she said she was in a 90-minute session the other day.
Okay, so
I know. Let's go.
Let's get into it. Okay, so let's discuss the woman of the season. Why we're all here. Countess Luann de Lessups. Are you excited?
I'm so excited because, like you said earlier, we're transitioning away from the Jen Shaw, Erica Jane of it all. And so it's nice to really get back to our roots. Like the OGs of criminal behavior in the Bravo universe.
Listen, I need a break. I need a little relief from some federal charges. I need a little assault of an officer, if you will.
Oh my God, we're going to get into that because did you see the photo I sent you?
Was it Lou's shirt?
No, it's a photo of the police officer.
Dude, homie has a black forehead. Luann, whatever she did resulted in injuries to this officer.
He looks like he got karate chopped in the forehead. Okay, so let's get into it.
So let's top it off with the charges. So I have that Luann was charged on 4 felony counts of 5?
Technically, it's 5. 2 of the charges were she was charged twice with the same crime.
Oh, okay. Okay, so point that out whenever I get to it. But the charges are disorderly intoxication, resisting arrest, battery of an officer, threats against a public servant.
Times 2. And so 4 out of the 5 charges were felonies. The disorderly intoxication was charged as a misdemeanor. and that's just drunk public intoxication.
Okay, can I pick your brain for a second?
Sure.
Okay, because I feel like I only ever hear about misdemeanors and felonies.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense. But like, what's the difference? Like, why are there differences? Like, what's a misdemeanor versus a felony? Is it just the amount of time of punishment you get? Or like, what distinguishes it?
It's severity of the crime. So generally, misdemeanors are somewhat low-level offenses. Even though they do also include like driving under the influence, vehicular manslaughter, it's less time and it's generally bound by 1 year county jail. So like that's the maximum sentence you can serve is 1 year county jail, generally in California on a misdemeanor.
Okay.
And before, so recently California changed its law. It was 3 years probation. And now it is reduced down to 1 year for most crimes, unless it's set forth in the statute otherwise. Like DUIs are 3 years, but a wet and reckless, which is if you get pulled over with a lower blood alcohol level, is now 1 year.
Okay, so it's like kind of like if you're in trouble and the punishment is over a year in jail, it's probably a felony.
Yeah. And also it depends on the gravity as well. So you could be charged, for example, with domestic violence, and that could be charged as a misdemeanor. Say you and I are in a relationship and I punch you in the face.
Ouch.
Say you suffer just a redness on your cheek, that would probably be charged as a misdemeanor. But if I punched you in the face and your forehead split open, that would most likely be a felony.
Okay. Interesting.
So you have to, I mean, it really comes down to a charging decision when the DA is looking at the case and they're looking at the evidence. And I think the totality of the circumstances. You also look at the defendant or suspect's criminal history as well. But most of the time it's related to conduct, obviously.
So can I ask, like you just said, tell me if we need to cut this, but you just said that like if you punched me in the face and no blood was shed, it would probably be a misdemeanor.
Most likely.
So how come if Luann straight up battered this police officer and there was no blood, is it the fact that he's a police officer that makes it the felony, or where's that line? Is there a line?
Yes. So it goes back really to conduct. So with battery on a police officer, it can be charged as a felony or a misdemeanor. Again, it goes back to conduct.
Okay.
In this case, we'll get into it with detail, is like you can actually see a laceration of some sort or an indentation on the police officer's forehead, which is the reason why I'm assuming the DA in Florida filed it as a felony. If there's any indentation, any mark, laceration, generally it will be filed. Any slight bruising, visible redness, that will be
indentation is like when you go night and like you wake up with the sheets.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just like the barely there evidence that something happened. It'll disappear. So get a photo.
Well, think like when you were a kid, I mean, I grew up with a brother, and I remember my brother one time we were fighting and my brother slapped me so hard on my arm that I had his handprint on, and so it's like that should, I mean, it really depends.
I mean, we're not here to tell everyone that your brother needs to go to jail for hitting you. I mean, but like in this case, there's an issue. No.
Really traumatic, like really.
I mean, brothers, you guys, criminal behavior.
Oh, right.
Okay, so anyway, she assaulted a public servant. It was very, very, very bad. So what had happened was, should I start and tell the story, or do you have a different plan, or what?
Can I do it?
Oh, hell yeah, girl.
Okay, so I'm going to set the scene.
Set it, bitch.
It's a warm day in Florida. It's an early Sunday morning on Christmas Eve. Countess Luann.
Is it, or is it New Year's Eve?
I had Christmas Eve in the article.
New Year's Eve. Wait. Let's Google it, because if I have New Year's Eve and you have Christmas Eve, there's a debacle. Christmas Eve. You're right. Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay. So it's an early Sunday morning, Christmas Eve. Countess Luann's in Florida, getting ready to celebrate the holidays with friends and families. I think she was down there for a wedding as well, correct?
Okay, so what was happening was she was on her way to a wedding. The wedding was in South Africa. So she decided to stop by her friend Julie's house. Julie lives in Palm Beach. And Julie was like her BFF. Julie was in her wedding with Tom, etc., etc. So she actually went to Florida to stop by Julie's and then go to her brother's house in Jupiter. And then she was going to go to the wedding.
Okay. So she goes out with some friends, gets a little drunk. They're at a hotel. And all of a sudden, a security guard phones 911, right? Okay, so Luann and her friend, they're at the hotel. They all went out, had a wild night. They're drinking. They're having a blast. They're wandering back to their rooms, okay? Lou goes into what she believes is her bedroom with a man. Security guard wanders by and says, hey, look, like, this isn't your room, because I believe he was tipped off and notified that there were these two random people in a room where a maid was trying to do turn down service. Security guard comes up and goes, hey, you got to get out. Lou is just doing whatever in the sheets.
Banging and serving
in some random person's room. And that poor housekeeper that had to witness it.
Oh my God.
So security guard's there and is like, you've got to get out. Lou and this man are totally not paying attention. So he has to call the police. The police officers come up and say,
Wait. The man that Lou is with.
Oh, go.
Calls the police?
No.
Oh, okay. So what I had
You tell the story. You tell the story.
Okay. What I had heard, she meets up with a polo player who's her age that she used to know. She hits level 4, even though she's on level 3. She's paid for 2 nights at this hotel, according to Lou. She's on level 3. Gets to level 4, wherever she thinks her room is, which if you're fucking drunk is wherever the first fucking door that's open is.
Yeah. Or the floor.
Right. She gets out of the elevator, goes into a room that's open, propped open, because the cleaning lady, the housekeepers are doing turn down, like you said. Mm-hmm. Lou and polo players start making out. Housekeeper goes to security and goes, this bitch is out of control. The polo player goes, is this your room? Lou's all, yeah, this is my room. And the polo player goes, is this your BlackBerry? Because whoever room they were in 2017 had a BlackBerry fucking phone.
You know, Kim Kardashian had a BlackBerry, I think, up until about 2018.
Well, either way, like, it is unacceptable behavior. Just send an email. So anyway,
remember how small the keypads were?
Oh my God.
I mean, absurd.
I think back about it and I'm like, why did I ever want that?
Because it was cool.
Did I expect myself to keep like a little toothpick in my pocket so that no, didn't it come with a fucking toothpick?
It did. It came with, I think it depended, but it would come with a little touch screen.
Yeah.
Like
so that you could click the letters better. Because even they knew you couldn't type on it.
Oh, I thought it was for the screen. No, it was for the little, whatever. Who cares?
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a stylus.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a toothpick.
Mm-mm.
All right. Anyway, so then what happened to Lou? So now you take over. So So
they're in this person's room. Guy says, this is your BlackBerry. Puts Lou on notice that it's probably not their bedroom.
Right.
Plus, there's probably a maid standing there with some towels in her hand. Like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm in the middle of... That is so rude.
That is
justice.
So rude.
Justice for housekeepers.
Justice for the housekeeper. Like, if the housekeeper's turning down your bed, first of all, if you're not walking in there and tucking $20 into their little cart, don't stay there.
And if you're not leaving your room spotless when you leave, you're a psychopath.
Oh my God, it gives me a pit. Like, I literally am nauseous thinking about it. Okay, so the housekeeper turns her in and is all, yo, security.
Yes, the security rolls up, right? And this is all according to the police report. So security officer rolls up and locates an intoxicated female in the hotel room, right? With another man.
Yeah.
Who the security guard said had trespassed into someone else's room. So security officer enters the room, sees them in bed together, and he goes, yo, get out. You know, doing the right thing, trying to handle it informally, trying to be patient. They're there for 5 minutes. And the security guard is trying to get them out of the room and they're not complying.
Don't you wonder, like, whoever really slept there, whoever owned the Blueberry, or whatever, I do want to know, like, where were they? Were they also in the room being like, Luann, can you stop fucking this polo player?
No, but I do want to know if they were eventually notified. This could have happened while they were like at some overly priced restaurant in Florida.
1,000%. I mean, it's just so nuts.
I mean, for those new listeners, you don't understand. Lauren and I have such a gripe with Florida.
We have such a gripe.
Okay, so then security guards telling them to get out. You know, I just see this like exhausted guy who's probably working like a 12-hour shift, getting paid $10 an hour, just so bummed that he's there and having to deal with these people because, you know, he probably has to write an incident report as well. Oh, so he goes.
Exactly. He goes, I don't see anything. Please don't make me do this.
So he has to call the cops. The cops show up. They go into the room and they say, hey, look, like, I need you to leave. But when they arrive, it's not. So this is hilarious because when I was doing research, the security guard says he sees Lou in the room with a man, right? But then when officers get there, Julie's there. And I was like,
because the polo player called her.
But it's so funny because I thought that this article got, or the police officers or the security guard got the man confused the woman for a man. And I was like, that is actually one of my worst fears is being described in a police report or just any type of like critical incident or like somebody giving my description on a 911 call. Like it actually keeps me up at night because I know I'm going to be described in a way that is just hurtful to my ego, you know, like the chubby girl with the double chin.
Yeah, I get it because I mean, you know this, we've talked about this. Like for me, it's walking into a normal unhandicapped bathroom stall. If I have to go pee in a stall that's not reserved specifically for the handicap, I'm experiencing severe body dysmorphia and I don't think I can fit through the door.
Yeah, Lauren has this weird thing where she feels like she's going to get stuck in a stall because she thinks that it's a mental. No, but seriously, like being described, like what if you're having an off day? You know, and like you didn't wash your hair, or like what if you're having an off day where you just didn't put makeup on and didn't brush your hair, or like as me with a naturally curly, frizzy hairdo, and sometimes I just throw it in a bun. And it's like, what if I'm listed in a police report and described as like the overweight girl with, you know, the bra that's too loose to hold her large breasts?
I mean, it's just too much to even think about, and this is why therapists have jobs.
Yeah, so that really triggered me, but thank God it sounds like there was polo player in the room as well as Julie, because Julie was called to try to help put the situation at ease, but it didn't work. Let's just say that.
So apparently Julie was in the wedding. She was in the wedding party. She was a bridesmaid because lest we all forget, the entire reason Luann was even in Florida is because not a year ago, she was being married on some boat down there on the same day that a year later that she's arrested.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me it's about Tom.
Please don't let it be about Tom. It's fucking about Tom. It's about Tom here and it's about Tom in Beverly Hills.
God, remember when Roni was good?
I literally wrote down so many notes because I was just like, are you kidding? Yeah. Luann starts talking about how jail was freezing cold and
no. We'll get to that because that is like one of my biggest gripes with Lou is that she says that she went to prison. Okay, so officers roll up, Julie's there. They think initially Julie's involved, but she's not. She's trying to communicate to officers, hey, look, I was called to be here to try to help out. She's not listening.
Yeah.
So officers then attempt to detain Luann, right? Because she's refusing to leave at that point. And once an officer gives you a lawful order, or if somebody tells you, that being the security guard was probably saying, this is not your room, I'm giving you an order to leave. And if she disobeys that order, then I'm surprised they didn't charge her with trespassing.
They did.
No, they didn't.
She was, but I think it was misdemeanor trespassing.
Oh, really? I didn't see that in one of the charges. I thought they just charged her with disorderly conduct and all the charges you listed earlier.
Oh, maybe they dropped it, but I know because she was in the room, she wasn't supposed to be in. That's why they got her. Originally, that's why they got her.
Well, that was the original. Yeah, that was the original call for service. I wonder if she was not allowed to go back to the Colony Hotel, though.
Wow.
I wouldn't be surprised. So anyways, officers show up. They attempt to detain Lou. At this point, she's in the bathroom. They're trying to get her out of the bathroom, at which time she shoves our poor officer with an open palm to the chest and then slams the door on the officer's face, striking him in the forehead. And this is the poor photo that I showed Lauren, where he's got this little tiny, it looks like the door just clipped him right in the forehead. He has this like 1-inch line in the direct center. Maybe we can post it.
Here's the deal.
I don't want to put the officer on blast, but maybe we should post it just on like a second slide so people can see it, because
I think we should post it just because it, like, sorry you got hurt, but also like I'm laughing that Luann de Lessups, who I've never even seen take a soul cycle class for charity, her a police officer. Like, I'm sorry, like hysterical. She literally does nothing except for paint.
Well, and it's like, I could have seen Lou hitting an officer in the eye with one of her statement necklaces before I would see her smashing a door into an officer's face.
Literally so funny. That is so true. Okay.
So wait, really quickly. So they get her.
She closed the door in his face. She closed the door in his face. And that's how he got the mark on his forehead, because she's all bam, slams the door shut right in his face, marked him.
So then they're able to finally place her in handcuffs. Even though she's like resisting, pushing and pulling, trying to get away, probably telling them that they're fucking assholes.
Oh, for sure.
And that's when they get her downstairs, and the infamous cop car scene where she tries to slip out of her handcuffs. Wait, did she slip out of her handcuffs?
Where Lou successfully slipped out of handcuffs in the back of a police, whatever they call it, car.
What a little magician's assistant.
What was Houdini's wife's name? She had a name.
Bess.
Luann is Bess Houdini.
She's a Bessie Houdini.
Bessie Houdini. Bessie vibes over here with her coming out of handcuffs. Okay, so Bessie vibes breaks free of the cuffs. She's in the back and she's all, "Are you kidding me? How dare you arrest me? How dare you arrest me? I'm Luann. How dare you?"
Such an entitled little bitch, like such a Reese Witherspoon moment.
Dude, oh my God. I forgot about the Reese Witherspoon moment. Do you know who I am? There is nothing better than a celebrity being arrested. I'm so sorry, because it's like, this is the moment that you all realize that you're just the same as us. And you're sitting here going, "Don't you know who I am?" Do you think that person cares? The rest of us are busy paying bills. We don't care who you are.
I feel like People Magazine needs to, or like In Touch, whoever used to do that segment, like Celebrities Just Like Us, needs to do like a criminal edition.
Let's do it. Fuck them. Yeah. Let's just do it ourselves.
Yeah, let's do it. Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them. We're in charge.
Okay, so Rue.
It is bring back my girls.
Oh, I'm not even drunk. That's the sad part. So Lou then slips, Miss Bessie Houdini over there, slips out of her cuffs and then says, "I'm gonna fucking kill you all," to the police officers. And let's just say, you can't threaten a police officer.
You can't threaten to kill anybody.
Yeah, it was so bad. Thank God they released that dash cam, or like that vehicle cam.
They had to.
Her being an absolute monster.
She was a little monster. Like, Luann was the epitome of "my dad is gonna sue you."
Total boat shoe vibes.
She is khaki shorts all the way in that moment.
Wow. Okay. So if we were to describe Lou in that moment, she's Bessie Houdini wearing a khaki short and a polo, a boat shoe with a Bieber haircut, and possibly like a Coach purse.
And not the kind from 2021. She is rocking a 2006 Coach purse with the attached C's in camel color.
You read my mind. And it's the one where it's like that.
Yeah, it's a saddlebag. Don't worry. I went to LA. It's a saddlebag. It's called that. Yeah.
Oh, totally. Like, I'm going to call my dad. I'm going to call my dad. He's an attorney.
I don't think you understand that at one point in time, I was married to someone who was named a count by someone other than anyone in this country that matters because I'm being arrested by this government. But just know that.
How funny would it have been when she got arrested if she just started talking about the Suez Canal?
Oh my God. The Suez Canal of it all. The fact that Luann de Lesseps, I'm sorry, please pull over if you're driving because this is quite the whiplash you're about to experience. The fact that Luann de Lesseps' married family is the family that dug the Suez Canal and is therefore aligned with the fact that the Suez Canal, Suez or Suez? What is it?
Suez.
The canal has been unable to be accessed by ships.
Now it's accessed, but we did get that boat stuff.
Now it's accessed, and I'll tell you what. Thank you, boat driver, for drawing a giant dick with that boat because I got to tell you, spark joy.
Okay. So back to Lubu. She is arrested. She's spending the night in jail. She's in the drunk tank, having to sleep off probably one of the most wicked hangovers she's probably ever had in her life.
Yeah.
Because it was early Sunday morning means that she woke up and was most likely arraigned that Monday.
Oh, for sure. I don't think she changed clothes.
And so she was she arraigned on Christmas? No, because the courts are closed Christmas morning.
Probably the 26th.
So she was probably arraigned on and when I say, you guys look, we were looking into some facts, not all.
Well, I told you before, and I'll tell you again. We're here to give you the gist.
Yeah.
If you want the straight up legal definitions, you got to go somewhere else. I don't care. I don't care.
Fun.
I don't care where you go. Here, we're having fun.
Okay. So this is one of my favorite moments and favorite takeaways from this entire Lou saga.
Okay.
Is that she gets arraigned. The judge told Lou when she was being arraigned that she probably had a drinking problem.
Yeah.
He did want her to talk because she wasn't being represented by an attorney. Oh, I'm sorry. My notes right here say she was arraigned on the same day. That's not possible.
Maybe she was arraigned the next day.
Yeah, that's not.
Whatever.
Okay, all right. Anyways.
Well, she was quickly arraigned.
So the judge decides she obviously pleads not guilty, which is standard practice with any defendant because you haven't had an opportunity to review any of the discovery or, understand the charges that are being brought against you. She didn't have an opportunity to have an attorney present. So she pled not guilty. And then generally at the arraignment stage, the judge will give the defendant either they'll allow them an opportunity to remain out on their own recognizance, which means you can be out on your own, do your own thing, but you just have to promise the court that you're going to come back. Or an individual can be released on bail or bond. In this case, the judge said, I'm going to let you be released on your own recognizance, and then stated, I don't think it would be that hard to find you. And that right there really led me to believe that this judge was a Housewife fan.
This judge obviously knew exactly where to find Luann.
Yeah. And I love that because I'm pretty sure it was a guy. And I wonder if it was like the court clerk or somebody was just like, this is Luann, the housewife. Or maybe he knew, like I said, maybe he was a fan. Maybe he was a Roni stan because, there are a lot of people like that. New York to Florida life is very popular.
I think they call them snowbirds.
Snowbirds?
Snowbirds, I think, are people who go from New York to Florida for the winter time, like so that they can escape the breeze.
So Miss Houdini is arraigned. She is released on her own recognizance. She packs up her stuff and she figures out what she's going to do with the rest of her life. And obviously the news breaks. People are freaking out. I remember where I was
I mean, everyone remembers where they were the moment Luann de Lessups was arrested in the same city Tom was having a party.
I remember vividly where I was when Lou announced she was getting divorced from Tom. I was getting on an on-ramp in Portland, Oregon, leaving Powell's bookstore with my brand new book. And I was notified that they were filing for divorce.
I remember I woke up, I looked at my phone. I was sleeping at my parents' house. And I go, what? What happened?
So after Lou gets arrested, she gives a couple post-arrest statements. She goes, "This was my first time in Palm Beach since my wedding, and being here brought up long buried emotions. I want to offer my sincere apologies to anyone I might have offended with my behavior. I am committed to a transformative and hopeful 2018. And then there's another quote. "I have decided to seek professional guidance, and I will be voluntarily checking into an alcohol treatment center. I intend to turn this unfortunate incident into a positive, life-changing event. Once again, I sincerely apologize for my actions." And then she made another comment that said, "It's good to be home. I'm doing great, spending time with my friends and family." This is what she tweeted on January 23rd and said, "Thank you, everyone, for your continued good wishes and support." I'm pretty sure that was after she returned from rehab.
Well, she returned from rehab. I'm not too sure if you remember this, but when she returned from rehab, she went directly to like a trip with the rest of the ladies at the spa weekend at the Mayflower. And that's when Ramona Coaster posted a photo that had Luann at the head of the table and all the other girls, all of the empty wine glasses.
Mm-hmm.
And Luann was all, "Yo, you can't post this. I just left rehab and I have court on Thursday." And Ramona's all, "But the glasses are empty." And like me as a legal person is like, yeah, exactly. The glasses are empty, meaning somebody drank whatever was in that glass.
So what I wonder is if, because when a judge can release you on your own recognizance, at least in the state of California, they can set certain conditions as a term of your OR, meaning generally like with people that are
What's OR mean?
Own recognizance.
Oh.
So if somebody is released OR, a judge can set specific terms as a condition of their OR. And so a lot of times with like DUIs, we'll ask especially like it depends on their blood alcohol level and the amount of alcohol they consume. So if they were a really high blood alcohol level, we'd ask them to complete 2 to 3 NAAAs a week.
What's NA?
So that's Alcohol Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous.
Oh, okay. Narcotics Anonymous.
So then as a term of you being released on your OR, you have to complete this NAAA, and a judge can also impose what is called an abstention clause where you have to abstain from the use of alcohol. And I'm assuming the judge imposed something like that because she was charged with an alcohol-related crime, being disorderly intoxication.
Well, I think that was a condition of her parole. Does that sound right?
Yeah, but you have to remember at this point, she's not guilty.
Right.
And so she's not on probation. And so that fear, I'm assuming, stems from the judge must have ordered something that we're not privy to. And so she was probably fearful. And she's also fearful of, the public stigma of she's trying to create a new image for herself. But so she goes back to court, eventually pleads guilty. She pleads guilty, though, to 3 misdemeanor charges. So she had been, all of the felony charges were reduced down to misdemeanors. So she pled guilty to 1 battery on a police officer, or battery. I think it was just a simple battery. And then 2 to trespassing and 3 to disorderly intoxication. And so what they did was they negotiated the original charges down to a misdemeanor, probably because of her lack of criminal history. Going back, remember how you're like, what is a felony versus a misdemeanor when it comes to a battery So in this case, yes, the officer did have an indentation on his forehead, but he didn't have to get stitches. He didn't have to go to the hospital. And also a lot of times the district attorney will take into consideration a level of intoxication of a person, because you have to also have intent to commit some of these crimes.
Right.
And if you're totally inebriated, blacked out, or you're not aware of anything, You know, a lot of times people will give you the benefit of the doubt and say, look, like, I know you don't possess this type of criminal behavior, but it looks like this is more of an alcohol problem. So let's address this alcohol issue.
Yeah. Like there's another thing going on here.
Yeah.
You're not purposefully doing this because you intend to purposefully do this. Like this behavior is a result of a deeper issue.
Yeah.
That's not related to punching police officers.
Yes.
And breaking in, entering.
And that is why we have misdemeanors versus felonies, because being convicted of a felony, there are a lot of consequences that attach to that. And you want to give people the benefit of the doubt, especially when they're first-time offenders. You want to do everything you can to promote rehabilitation. And, you know, convicting her of a felony really wouldn't have done anything, you know, different. You know, it probably would have deterred her even more. And probably, I don't think it would have been helpful in this situation. And so I think the misdemeanor, you're still seeking, you know, you're still holding somebody accountable, justice is still being served. And as a part of her plea deal, she was ordered to complete 1 year of probation, which is better than the 5 years that attached to a felony.
Oh my God, that's a while.
I don't think she served any jail time. She probably got what is called credit for time served. She was ordered to do 50 hours of community service, attend 2 NAAA meetings a week for her term of probation, not possess or consume alcohol. So that was that abstention clause. And she was ordered to attend a victim impact class that's organized by MAD, which is the Mothers Against Drunk Driving, which I understand, but I also don't, because it's not.
She wasn't driving.
It wasn't a driving alcohol related offense with driving, but I mean, it's impactful a lot of times to go to these panels. They're so sad.
But do you think that at that point it was just making an example out of a person who has a bit of celebrity? Because like you said, like she wasn't driving. She was, you know.
I think they were just trying to tack on every single alcohol class that they could to try her to get sober. And then she also had to write a letter of apology to the officer she kicked.
Honestly, though, like, I mean, he was just trying.
That is one of my favorite.
Somewhere you didn't belong. Like, you must apologize.
Yeah, I used to do that all the time, especially with like really low level offenses. Like I had a woman who stole money out of another person's purse. It was her employee or her coworker's purse, and it was caught on video. And I had her write a letter of apology, and she had to give it obviously to her coworker, and her coworker forgave her, and it was like this wonderful moment. And sometimes I think it can be more cathartic and like impactful than having somebody do a theft course or something where they might not.
1,000% the power of a handwritten letter.
It was handwritten too. It wasn't typed.
No, is beyond. And that's something my boyfriend George Glass taught me, is like, if there's anything that you need, a handwritten letter is more impactful than anything you could ever type or say on a phone. So good on Luann. And everybody, write your handwritten letters and get your money, get your dough, get out of jail, do your thing, write it in your own hand.
But I would love to point out to people, like I said, when she pled that 1 year probation that she was placed on with that abstention clause, that is why she was so strict with drinking and alcohol being around her when they were filming.
Oh, because she promised the court, I'm going to abstain from alcohol.
Yes. And
so I'm not drinking it.
Well, and as a term, so if she violated that in any way, which we'll get to in a minute, she can serve jail time, and a court can revoke her probation and sentence her out for the whole year. Or they can send. Yeah. So probation is a gift. Probation is a privilege. The court is saying, hey, look, we trust you. What we're going to do is we don't feel that you are such an aggressive offender or such a criminal that you need to be locked up and confined in jail. But we do feel like you need to be monitored by and supervised by a probation officer. And we need to set these specific terms for you. And so that's what they did in this situation. And Lou violated her probation, not once, but twice.
What do you mean? What happened?
So she told her probation officer that she consumed 2 mimosas while she was in Chicago. And also I read that she failed a breath test, but I'm assuming that was on the same the same instance, because so when you have a probation officer, the probation officer is going to check in with you and do weekly, monthly routines. And a lot of times where somebody has an abstention clause where they can't possess, consume, or be in a place where alcohol is sold, probation officers will go to people's houses and do like checks on their homes to see if there's alcohol in the general area.
Are they breathing into a breathalyzer during this time, or it's just checkups with your officer?
So sometimes they'll have you breathe into a breathalyzer. Other times people can carry what is called a scram device, which is a screening alcohol monitor program that hooks up to your ankle that can monitor the alcohol levels in your system.
Oh.
But the thing that I find interesting is that they did a breath test on her, and for a breath test to pull alcohol, you had to have consumed it or detect, alcohol. You had to have consumed it within a relatively short time period of that breath test. And so I think she was definitely drinking more than she let on to people to believe. I don't think she was sober at all during that time when she was filming. I think she was drinking off camera.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly, I think she's more sober now than she was during that probationary period.
I agree. I mean, she literally pulled out bottles of wine from her refrigerator when Dorinda came over, and she's all, I need to get rid of these. Like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, yeah, she was probably. I mean,
it's hard. Think about it.
I hate to say it, but if I had just gotten out of a spa like rehab, I'd have a glass of rosé. Okay, I would.
I don't think that Lou is that typical alcoholic. Not that there is a typical alcoholic, but I don't know. I think that she binge drinks when she's out with her friends. I don't know if she's drinking heavily when she's home or like needing it to function, but I think that she's always
we're not privy to that. But from
we're not privy.
From what we're privy to, she's a social drinker who did a very bad thing. From according to whatever we see, we don't know this bitch,
and falls into bushes. So she was arrested on her probation violation and remanded in court.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And so a lot of times what happens.
Yeah. She got in trouble.
Yeah. So because she made that admission, or she admitted that, a probation officer has to take that, puts it in a report, and then we have what are called probation hearings. That is a violation of probation, so it puts the court on notice, and then it also puts the district attorney on notice, and then you have what is called a probation violation hearing, which is an admit-deny hearing, where the defendant can come in and admit to the probation violation or deny it. If they deny it, then you have a hearing on it. But and a lot of times, if you violate probation, it depends on the judge, but they'll throw your ass in jail.
Wow, because they don't care. They're all no, you're done.
Because probation, they're already giving you a chance to be out on your own. And it's like, I gave you certain conditions and you can't follow those. So why should you be out free?
Yeah.
You can't listen. She was released though very shortly thereafter, but she did violate again.
Because she has a lot of money and she's white.
She did violate again though, because she forgot to submit her mandated 2 NAAs per week, which I will say.
What's an MAA? What is that?
No, the NAAA meetings.
Oh, NAA. Sorry. It's just acronyms sometimes. Like I'm really dyslexic and I don't get it sometimes.
And so, but she was eventually released and she did successfully complete her probation. Remember, her case was done. I'm assuming it's under seal because Lauren and I couldn't find shit on this case, you guys.
No, and I reached out to Valter is upset on Instagram. Everyone go follow Valter, Valter is upset on Instagram. She works in Florida as well. And I asked her, can you pull these documents? And she's all, nah, bro, I can't.
Yeah. So I'm assuming, so after, at least in California, after a certain period of time, you can do what's called an expungement where you can expunge certain.
But maybe even she did it immediately because I couldn't even find it by Googling it.
Well, the police reports exist because some of the articles I was reading, they had access to the reports. And so those reports are public record. But now that it's been sealed or expunged and sealed, all of that information, taken off. It's no longer public record.
Wow. I mean, I just feel like Luann did the most with this. And she was like, if we're going to go big, we're going to go big. Like, I'm going to
resist arrest. I'm going to batter an officer. I'm going to slip out of handcuffs in the back of the car. And like, there's just so much that comes with Luann's ability to like act this way in front of an officer. And yeah, she had to do parole and she had to, refrain from drinking for a year. But like, I think she got off pretty scot-free. Is that just me?
I agree with you 100%.
Okay.
100%. And you know what frustrates me a lot is I said it earlier when she says like, I've been to prison. It's like, no, you've been to county jail. Like prison is very different. And I get like, in prior seasons and in this season, she does a lot of like community outreach with women that have, have been convicted felons who are trying to reincorporate back into society. And I think that's really cool, but I think she's a little delusional in talking about her experience when she's having these conversations with women who have dealt with significant substance abuse, domestic violence, who have been victims of victims of human trafficking, prostitutes who have been wrapped up in these situations, like where there was no out, where your pimp was driving you somewhere and you couldn't leave the car and a crime's committed and now you're being prosecuted for conspiracy.
Yeah.
Or accessory after the fact. That part is hard for me to watch, but I do appreciate the fact that she's at least bringing light to it and putting it on the screen and, showing people that people should have an opportunity at a second chance.
She spread her cheeks for us.
Yeah. Certain people deserve a second chance, but Lu's, she's doing much better. And I think she's more sober than she's ever been now. Like she's so stunning.
Too. Oh my God. It's like her and I'm going to say it. I think her and Sonia, like, yeah, they're fucking kooky. They're kooky bitches. Luann and Sonia are fucking kooky as hell.
But I would say Sonia more than Lou.
But also it takes a special woman to sing a Christmas song and say she's a person of cabaret. I mean,
it's true.
You know what I mean? Like, love Lou, great, good job. Like, you're so exciting. But also, like, Sonia, does she have a drinking problem? Yeah, for sure. I don't know why I brought Sonia up. I'll literally use any opportunity to talk about Sonia.
I love her. But okay, so not to like pit women against women, but Sonia has had a facelift. I don't think Luann has. Like, I think Lou is 100% natural. With like that natural tone, like I'm gonna go hop on a surfboard and surf a 6-foot wave with like a turquoise necklace and a bandana.
And like looking cute, and then gets off the surfboard and is like, "Hey, I'm gonna go fuck your dad." Bye.
Yeah, and then like lets her hair naturally dry with like a salty wave.
Yeah, and it
doesn't have to worry about.
I have a sunburn.
And now I have also developed a melasma stash on my upper lip from the sun burning into my olive fair skin.
But I'm so glad everything worked out for you, Luann. Okay, so can we talk about the fact that whenever Luann met with all the girls, like after she got arrested, she's telling the whole story and she's like, I've been to prison, which we know is not true. I've been arrested, et cetera, et cetera. Dorinda literally looks Luann dead in the eye on their first night out. And she goes, we're going to a restaurant. Do you think you'll be okay? Do you think you'll remember how to order? Can we just remember that Luann went to jail for one night? And they're all, do you think you know how to order at a restaurant? It's like, what? And then when Luann was at jail, she got a bologna sandwich that had the mustard packet in the middle of the sandwich and she bit into it. I mean, just classic.
I hate these women, but I also love them so much.
You can't help it. I love them. I want to kiss them on the mouth and slap them across the face right after.
I know, right? Well, especially after this season of Roni.
Oh, nothing makes my tummy hurt. But I still haven't been able to have a solid shit after any of these episodes. I'm sorry if that's TMI, but you know what? It's anxiety provoking to watch this.
Well, that is my criminal behavior for the week is Roni.
Oh, Roni's your criminal behavior.
Yeah. Poor episodes of Housewives need to be accounted for, well documented, and there needs to be an executive board meeting at Bravo where we sit down and we really go over the future of Roni.
You know, I agree with that because it's like, you mean to tell me that you're recording X amount of hours a day, more than 1 hour a day for over a month. And the best you got is that hour of bullshit I just saw?
It sucks the life out of you.
That's a good criminal behavior. Like, yeah, criminal behavior number 1, stop making bad TV episodes. I don't think that's fair. I think you're right. I agree with that. I second that. And I'll start a petition.
I just like I get it. New York City during the pandemic was rough.
Yeah.
But there's so many other, like they could have done so many fun, creative things this season. They could have had a cast of 10 people.
Let me ask you, whatever happened to, you remember when they would be getting ready for things and we would get that very blatant product placement of Priv?
Now that's criminal.
Like, I don't understand why we don't have spa days dedicated to Priv coming and brushing fucking Ramona's hair and waxing Luann's upper lip. I don't get it.
Well, instead we're getting
and love Ebony, but she could have used a manicure.
Oh,
during her talking head. Love you, Ebony.
And
don't go on TV with bad nails.
Speaking of Ebony, though, that poor woman that's doing her makeup that looks like she's getting ready to go into open heart surgery.
Oh my God. Dude, that's the thing. I feel like, it's so crazy. Like COVID Housewives is like, I'm watching this to escape. And it's weird because it's like when we were in the thrust of COVID, it was too dark, right? Because it's like, no, we're in it. Like it's too dark. Like I don't want to watch these women be in it too.
Yeah.
And now that we're on this part, like this weird, delicate dance of being almost out and almost not, seeing them be fully in gives me a stomach ache. I want everyone to pretend as though none of this is happening. And I want Priv to come rub lotion on these women's faces.
Yeah. You know what we're going to have this season, though? Remember when we had OC and it was a terrible season, but the reunion was on and popping? That's what New York's going to be. We have to disregard the entire season and just chime into the reunion because it's going to be popping because Andy is going to come for Ramona's throat.
Do you think Nicki Minaj is really going to be a moderator of the reunion? I
don't think so. I think if they're going to do anything, it will be like a Watch What Happens Live with maybe... Or like a Watch What Happens Live, one of those specials where they have Nicki Minaj and then they have her sit down with a cast of Potomac and like interview and give comments and stuff. We can't disrupt the reunion that way. I can't handle it. Okay.
You know, people are mad at Nicki because I guess she's married to a pervert. So it's like,
we're not going to talk about that. Oh, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to bring that life.
No. Okay. So anyway, Dorinda doesn't know if Luann knows how to order at restaurants anymore.
Wait, really quickly. We're not going to bring it live, but if you want to know more, Google it. That's all I have to say. Cause it's
just Google it. And at the end of the day, like Andy only. And that's the way my cookie crumbles. Okay.
What's your criminal behavior?
Okay. So my criminal behavior are items with microwavable ability that should just be cooked in the oven.
Wow.
Don't give me microwave instructions with some weird saran covered aluminum foil on the top of a fucking oven dish. I mean, I bought a chicken pot pie from Trader Joe's today, right? And I go, okay, it'll take 65 minutes in the oven or 12 minutes in the microwave. I'm starving. So it's going in the microwave. When I pulled it out, I'm telling you, I am shocked.
You're going to make me gag.
I'm impressed that my entire house didn't catch on fire. The box was black. The box was black and burnt. And I go, are you kidding? And the contents were raw. So no, we're not doing it anymore. Down with oven items with a microwavable option. It's criminal. It's not happening. That's a real problem.
And another criminal behavior, just as like a slight caveat to that, is people that choose to microwave food.
I feel called out.
I mean, if you're going to like reheat your pasta or something or like warm up your tea, understand it. But if you're going to microwave steak, if you're going to microwave a slice of pizza, if you're going to put your bagel bites in the microwave, if you're going to microwave a quesadilla instead of putting it on the stove.
People don't microwave quesadillas, Cash. That's insane. Listen, if you're microwaving your quesadillas, unless there's some reason why you don't have access to a stove.
Like a health issue, like there's a reason, like your doctor has told you the only way to survive is eating microwave quesadillas. Understandable.
Which I've never heard before, so that's a lie. And if you don't have access to something other than a microwave, please DM me so I can take care of that for you. I'll buy you a stove for real.
Oh.
We're not microwaving quesadillas anymore. DM me. You're getting a stove. I'm Oprah.
Yeah, it's like the price is right over here.
Literally, we're not doing it. So anyway, that's my criminal behavior is items with a microwavable option that should not have them. So that's where I'm at.
Can I add one more? Because it happened to me. Yeah.
Add it.
So I've been having this problem with my local Starbucks, and I'm assuming it's the group of people that they have chosen to hire to work there.
Yeah.
But when I ask for so I ordered the nitro brew cold brew with sweet cream. And have you had it before?
Oh, of course.
So you get it, and it's like black, and then there's like that yummy, like sweet
Cold
foam on top.
Yeah.
And it's kind of seeping down the side, but the cold brew is really prevalent. It's black. I got it today, and it looked like my skin before I've gotten a tan.
Okay.
It was pale.
It was creamy. Yeah.
Creamy pale. And this is the fourth drink that I've had from them. And you guys, I got into a war with them. I said, can I have
a barista?
Yes, I used to be a Starbucks barista, so I take offense to this. And so that means they're hiring non-coffee drinkers, which is a problem. Which is an absolute problem. I should not, when I say a splash of cream, that doesn't mean three shots of espresso and then you pour the milk all the way to the top and then add ice to it. It's
Honestly,
gross.
Starbucks, if you're listening, this is unacceptable.
But
And
not to
I would like to solve this without, as I like to say, without risk of future litigation to all parties involved.
But also, I'm going to say something kind of shady. Sometimes I think they have to add that much milk to cut away from the bitterness of their espresso.
No, because I think they literally take a blowtorch, light the coffee beans on actual fire, put them in a cup, pour milk over it, and say, here, why haven't you tipped us in a week?
No, you know what they do? They put their espresso beans in that chicken pot pie wrap and microwave it.
If you work for Starbucks as a barista, also DM us because we owe you a tip, but also we have a lot of tips for you. Like, don't light beans on fire and then serve them to us in a cup of milk. Okay?
No, you really don't have to, because I used to work there for 3 years, and every time I came home, I smelled like a burnt espresso bean.
I worked at a cheese shop, and every time I'd come home, I smelled like a dirty asshole. And
Lauren.
Oh, okay.
We're done. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week with an episode. We're back on our normal routine. So let us know if there's any hot topics you want us to talk about, anything kind of like obscure. It doesn't even have to be Bravo related, but we're looking to kind of deviate from like our normal, like we said, Erica Jane, Jen
it's
Shaw.
Exhausting.
It is. It's exhausting, and she's a monster. So both of them are monsters. So
let's have a little fun. We're talking
let's
about
have fun. Let's have fun. Let's talk about, like, Sonia Morgan getting drunk and getting arrested. I don't know.
The world is too hard. There's too many hard things. If you want to be upset, watch the news. Other than that, you can catch us every Monday whenever we decide to post this. Sometimes it's every Monday. Sometimes it's not. allegedlybravo@gmail.com. If you'd like to, email us, you can visit us on our website, www.allegedlybravo.com. Follow us on Instagram @allegedlybravo. And I think that's it. Are there other things? Okay.
No.
And
bye.
We love you. Bye. Court's adjourned. Bye.